Now we're back visiting the park created by the current king in the Bangkok area. We'll listen to the national anthem as we take a stroll through it. The national anthem is played daily at 8 in the morning and 6 at night in public places. People are expected to stand up when they hear it. One of the fun things to do in Bangkok is to take a ride on the ferry. The Kayo Phraya River cuts through the middle of the city, still serving as a major transportation route, especially because the auto traffic is often bad. Our destination was the Temple of the Dawn, or Wat Arun. Wat Arun is one of the best-known landmarks and most published images of Bangkok. It consists of a massive, elongated Khmer-style tower, or prang, and is surrounded by 4 smaller prangs. The prang in the center is about 250 feet high. The temple was started by Rama II in the early part of the 19th century and completed by his successor, Rama III. The temple in which the prang sits is actually much older, dating from King Taksin's reign, just before the founding of Bangkok. The temple was used as part of his palace. The prang is not only unique in its design, which is a blend of Khmer and Thai styles, but also in decoration. Over the brick core, a layer of plaster was applied and then decorated with bits of Chinese porcelain and glazed ceramic tiles. Using porcelain from China isn't as extravagant as it might sound. In the early days of Bangkok, Chinese trading ships calling on the Siamese capital used tons of porcelain as ballast. The temple is just an early example of the Thai approach to recycling. Just across the river, you can see the Grand Palace and some humble shops selling produce and dried fish brought up the river. Besides the river, the Sky Train is another way to stay out of Bangkok's infamous traffic jams. My inspiration to come to Thailand was to visit the World Buddhist University housed in this building. I worked with this fellow named Vivek, an Indian working at the university on spiritual tourism. He gave me ideas for places to visit. He got invited to the Sri Lanka Independence Day celebration, and I tagged along with him. I felt way underdressed, so I whipped out my camera to give me some cover as a photographer and took some pictures. Toward the end of the event, the ambassador's wife asked me to take a few photos of her and her friends. We've left Bangkok and are now in the northern town of Chiang Rai. These are Bill Batt's good friends, the Intralawans. Both are still active doing medical practice in town. We ate at a lavish hotel buffet along the Mai Kok River. They took me, of course, to see the local Buddhist temple and a replica of the Jade Buddha. We also visited a hill tribe town and saw a few domesticated elephants. Elephant unemployment is a big problem now that logging has been reduced here. I was in town just after Chinese New Year. A tradition here is for the dragon to make an appearance and receive donations for this civic organization from shopkeepers. accompanied by fireworks and lots of noise. Since it's always hot in Thailand, there has been a long tradition of night markets. Many people come out for food, shopping, and entertainment, though this is more of a tourist venue today. I enjoyed sampling the food, discovering the joys of sticky rice, mango, and coconut sauce. One of the things to do in the north is to arrange for up to a week trek to visit Karan, Hamong, Yao, and Lisu Hill Tribe communities, among others. I decided I'd do just a one-day trip. Our tour started with a boat ride on the Mekong River, ending up at the same place I'd already visited. This time, I got to ride an elephant as part of the trip. Climbing and descending steep hills on an elephant's back is not for the faint of heart. One elephant trip is enough for me for a long time. The elephants took us to a Yao village, which seemed to me more like a tourist trap. Our guide put us on the elephants and then drove to it in a truck. These two women were vacationing Austrian pharmacy students who borrowed my camera. We had a short hike to this waterfall to eat our lunch. This was our guide, who talked a lot and said very little. And the last of our little group was this Israeli fellow. These tribes practiced mostly sustainable slash-and-burn agriculture in the highlands. The reforestation program by the government, after a wave of logging, has forced them to basically refugee camps. The government does support these little towns by giving them things like these high-tech solar panels, but they really can only be used to run TVs and radios so the government can influence them. The Aka tribe has an interesting custom of erecting a spirit gate that people should leave and return to the village through. Evil spirits can be picked up when away from home. The gate can cleanse you by frightening these spirits away. Notice the modern images of terror, guns, and helicopters. Wherever you live, though, the playfulness of children is universal. Sadly, these children will go to school and probably abandon their tribal ways. From Chiang Rai, I've taken a bus down to Chiang Mai, the walled city known for its many temples. This is one of the most prominent, Pra Datu Chete Luang, dates back over 600 years. Built to be 80 meters in height, 400 years ago, a heavy rainstorm and earthquake caused the pagoda to topple. It was reconstructed in 1990, but the top part could not be reconstructed because no one knew what it originally looked like. One of the things English speakers can do is sit down and have a chat with a Thai monk who is learning English. I spoke for an hour with these two fellows. A favorite trip for tourist and Thai alike is to visit Dosutep, a temple on the side of a hill overlooking Chiang Mai. Enjoy the sights while we listen to some lampong music. One of Vivek's spiritual tourism suggestions was visiting a Dhammakaya meditation center. I found one on the web to the southwest of Bangkok and charted a route to it with a cab and a long bus ride into the country. The bus ticket taker showed me where to get off since the center was set back from the road by several small man-made lakes. I visited on a special festival day and got blessed again with more water sprayed on me. Unfortunately, not many people spoke English. The abbot invited me to stay overnight in a spare one-room cottage because an English-speaking monk was expected to return the next day. I was allowed to eat with the novitiates about to ordain. Their founding monk discovered this meditation technique in the beginning of the 20th century that visualizes a crystal ball in the middle of your abdomen, just a few inches above the navel. Their movement has grown quite a lot in the last 100 years, so I expect there is something to this technique. Unfortunately, I found it rather challenging. Back in downtown Bangkok, the Erawan Shrine was created as a spirit house connected to the Erawan Hotel, now the Grand Hyatt Erawan Hotel. The forces of the typical Thai spirit house didn't seem effective enough during the building of the hotel, so spiritual persons advised that it should be replaced by the four-headed image of Brahma, or Prapram in Thai. This seemed to fix the construction problems. The shrine has become famous for bringing good fortune. The name Erawan comes from Brahman's 33-headed elephant. People offer colorful flower garlands, lotus, incense, and candles. Often, if a wish has been granted, people thank the spirits by donating teak elephants or commissioning the classical Thai dancers and live orchestra. Because the site is so popular, the candles and incense must be removed multiple times a day to make room for more to be offered. Finally, I end with the beginning. This man, Alan Oliver, found me through the UU Buddhist Fellowship website and suggested I come to visit and speak at the World Buddhist University. He was in the U.S. during most of my visit, but we overlapped a few days at the end. We took a river cruise together to eat, talk, and take in the beauty of the river at night. I'm grateful for his reaching out that inspired me to discover this beautiful country. I hope to visit again someday.